Hi guys! Happy Wednesday! Over here doing some breathing techniques before I hit the live button. Y'all do that sometimes when you go live. So just so you know, you might see people doing lives and you think they've got it all figured out, but goodness gracious, my heart is pounding. So give me some grace. This has been a long time coming. I'm sharing a very intimate part of my story, and I am excited to hang out with you guys today. So as you're tuning in, if you're catching the replay, comment below, missed you, so I can come back and say hello. But if you are catching the live, please tell me where you are tuning in from. I'm going to be sharing this in a couple places before I get started, and I'm going to jump right in. So as my heart is pounding, anyone else, do you love lives? Do you hate lives? I love lives in a small group, but for some reason, and I'll share a little bit more of that right today, going live on my public business and personal profile has literally been so stinking hard for me over the last 2 years, really, year and a half. So I'm going to share this into a couple groups that I lead, and I would just love for you guys to say hello, and here we go. Like I said, this has been a long time coming. And hi, Vanny, say hello so I can see some familiar faces, so I can feel comfortable like I'm just talking to my girls who are in Soul Sisters with God-Sized Dreams. That is a community that I have been able to come alive in, which has been such a blessing. Okay, so I'm looking at myself on here and my light is like super bright. So I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. Okay, we are downstairs in my office in my basement. Okay, I'm gonna share one more place, and then I'm gonna dive in. Hi, Emily. Hi, Yvonne. I see people from all over Arizona, all over. So I am sharing. I want to share it on my personal page too. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. Hi, Chris. Hi, Courtney. Yay. Some of my favorite people are on here. So I'm just going to hang out like I'm talking to my girls, like I'm talking to my friends. So goodness, I feel like this video has been a long time coming, and I've been so silent over here on this page. And that's what the devil wants for us who have a message to share with the world. He wants to silence us. He wants to isolate us. He wants to shame us. He wants us to not talk. And I am standing up against him today because I know how I fight my battles, and that is with the Lord. So I am going to share with you, try not to cry. I already feel them coming. But I'm going to try to share with you a little bit of my heart, where I've been the last really year and a half, and where God is taking me. And I hope that you are along for this incredible journey that he's had me on. So without further ado, some of you know me and you've been on this journey of my entrepreneurial journey for a long time, and some of you maybe found me through a post, a video, or something, but my name is Heather, and I love helping women achieve their God-sized dreams. And so I've talked about God-sized dreams for the past 6 years, and I have been able to chase mine, and I have been able to accomplish so many amazing, wonderful things because God is so good, and he's so good, and he has turned even my bad into good. And so in 2018, I started to really, actually in 2017, I started to feel, I built multiple businesses online. I've had a lot of success in the network marketing profession. And I've also built boutiques. I had a faith-based apparel line, which, don't you worry guys, I'm pretty sure that's coming back at some point, but God did ask me to lay that down last year so I could rest. I also have a coaching business, which is what I love to do. And so in 2017, actually, really, 2014 is when I started network marketing, and I loved some aspects around it, but there was always something missing for me. Comment below, MLM, if you have tried MLM before, network marketing, MLM, same thing, direct sales, if you've tried it before, or maybe you're currently in it. And so I found so many good things in that profession. It allowed me to quit my corporate job so I could be a work from home mom. It allowed me to travel the world with my babies. It allowed me to retire my husband from the corporate world as well. I see a lot of you MLMers on here. I know that's how I've connected with so many of you guys. I have met some of the most incredible people. Some of you are watching through this profession, and it definitely has a bad reputation, and it has a good reputation with some people too. And let me be honest, I have been one of those people who it had a wonderful reputation, and it was a good thing in my life. It has literally changed our family. On the flip side, I have also experienced the dark side of it, the side of it that I don't think anybody really talks about. And the part that I didn't want to talk publicly about. And so for a lot of different reasons. And so all of that to say, I have a story that I'm going to share with you guys today, really brief part of my story, but to kind of catch you up to speed with where I am, because I really believe that our stories are our gift to the world. And that was the whole premise around Living on a Prayer apparel. If you followed us with our apparel business, that was the whole thing, was that so you can wear these shirts or these hats or something that allows you to share your story with the world. And it's funny because I said those exact words, but over the last year and a half, I have been carrying a story of sadness and of anger and of grief and of, let me just be honest, the word shame. I've carried a story of shame, and I'm putting it out there because I know that some of you are also carrying a story of your life that you wish you could just, I posted about this the other day, but you wish you could just turn the page and change the chapter, change the book maybe, right? And God keeps putting people in my life who need my story. And I have been so reluctant to share this. I have been I've been fighting God on it because, quite frankly, I don't want to share it. I wish it could be not part of my life and not part of what I thought, was part of my identity. And so here I am going to share today. So I got into this network marketing profession, and I experienced the best of the best. Hi, Amy. I love you. I can't wait to see that tattoo in person. It looks so pretty on your pictures. I experienced the best of the best in network marketing. And then I've done multiple different companies. I've been able to build 6, 7, and 8 figure network marketing businesses. I've been so blessed by it. Our family financially, my platform, a lot of it is through network marketing people who, I love so much. And what happened was something was always missing for me when I would join a business. And then I was always, okay, God, like what's next? What's next? So I resigned from my first business and went to my second business and did that and had wild success there too, built that to 8 figures, and still there was something missing. And in that season, I couldn't quite figure out what was missing. And before I knew it, my life was like a freight train. It was crazy. I was just doing all the things. I had this business that was crazy successful, and I loved so many amazing people in the business, but there was something off and something that wasn't sitting well with me. Business-wise, there were some things, and then personally, there were some things. And before I knew it, my entire life was this business. I eat, slept, breathed, everything. And it was like spiraled out of control. And while I looked like I had all of the things to everybody, inside I was dying. And I literally was battling an autoimmune disease. Anyone who has had ulcerative colitis, I had a horrible case of it. Brought on by stress, and it was horrible. I thought I was dying. I thought I had cancer, and it really put things into perspective for me at the time, which I was thinking, no success in the world is worth your health. And so I'm like, I can't do this. And so I battled with myself and with the Lord, and like forever trying to figure out, why am I not happy here? I have all the earthly success that I could ever want, more than enough, but I'm not happy. And so I prayed on it. I talked to one of my former business partners about it. I was very open and honest with her about where I was and what season of life I was in. And it ended up that God gave me this verse. And the verse is Ruth 2, 8 through 9. And I remember as I had been discerning through all of these things and information for a long time, I was reading the Bible and I was literally was falling asleep. And I felt like these verse literally leapt off the page at me. And I'm like, okay, God, I think you're trying to talk to me here. Oh, cool, If you've ever wanted to hear from the Lord, he doesn't speak audibly to me, but he does speak through his word. And so I'm going to read to you these verses, and it's Ruth 2, 8 through 9, and it says, Then Boaz spoke to Ruth, Listen, my daughter, from now on, don't go to any other field to glean. Stay right here in this one, and stay close to my young women. Watch where they are harvesting and follow them, and don't worry about a thing. I've given orders to my servants not to harass you. When you get thirsty, feel free to go and drink from the water buckets that the servants have filled. Okay, so I'm like, okay, what does this mean? If you've ever read the book of Ruth, it's short and it's so good. It's packed with some really powerful information. But I knew that verse was something God gave me. And I remember discerning through that verse, and I remember actually sharing that with a former business partner and saying, I think, even though I'm not happy with where I'm at, God's telling me to stay here. And so I did. And I did for a few more months, and I'm like, this can't be it. This can't be it. So then I kept praying on God, you told me to stay in this field with these women in this business, but I am not happy. And I don't want to keep doing this, staying in this vicious cycle of I have to do all these things. And so then I was like, oh, I felt like God was saying, I didn't tell you have to stay here. I told you needed to stay with these women, which predominantly in network marketing, I work with women. And so I'm like, oh, like that mind blown, okay, he's giving me permission to go to another company and do something else somewhere else. In the meantime, I was pregnant. So I had zero extra energy left in me. I was pregnant with my third baby. And I was like, oh gosh, I can't even imagine blowing up another business. I literally at the time was running an 8-figure. I had thousands of people in my downline. I had just retired my husband earlier that year. So it wasn't like I could give that business up, but it was as if I wanted to stop building it. Read through all of the company's policies and procedures, took all the proper steps, figuring out in my head, I had this beautiful plan. I was going to stop building that, support the people who were there, and I was going to build this other business on the side. If any one of you follow me, you know that I don't blast the names of companies. I don't do product reviews everywhere. I don't really talk about the products or the business. I talk about the business in general, but I don't blast it out there, which is one of my favorite things to teach people is authenticity marketing and building your own brand so that if God calls you to pivot, you can pivot and you didn't lose everything. And so I was like, okay, I had this master plan, and I talked with the person whose income would be impacted the most, which was my former upline, and she was on board, and she's like, I get it. And I told her, I have to go somewhere else, and I feel like I'm going to continue to support my people here and my customers because I was still selling thousands of dollars a month in product, but I'm going to silently build this business over here. That sounded wonderful, wonderful. All right, here's where the yucky part of this industry can come in. So I had the plans. I finally got the courage to do it. Only person I told was my business partner at the time and one other really close friend who knew me, who also was having some concerns about her business. And I'm like, hey, do you think this business would be a good fit for me? You know me. Do you think this? Those are the only two people I went to for advice because I felt like I, owed it to the one person because I knew that would greatly impact her family. And then the other person because I loved her and trusted her and really wanted her business. She's very business savvy. I wanted her opinion from a friend, business. All that to say, I made the decision. I ended up getting out of my leadership role there and I did everything quiet, didn't make a big scene about it, nothing. And I signed up for another business. And so I thought that was going to be so beautiful and so perfect. In the meantime, truth be told, there was just a lot of stuff going on in that company at the time. And a lot of people came to me for advice. Probably some of you on here came to me for advice. And so many people can vouch for me and say, No, she actually pointed me right back to my business. And so, of course, as a coach and a mentor, I try to ask probing questions and say, hey, well, where are you, whatever. Long story short, there were two women in particular who decided to join me in this business because they were done building their business. They were in a very similar position. One who I had been mentoring for over a year because her leader kicked her out of her team page. Another dirty part of, this cultish sometimes mentality. People really separate. I'm very business minded, so I look at network marketing as a business, not as some fun club to join, right? Which is why I also was ready to make a decision to kind of stop building this business and pivot somewhere else. All that to say, I woke up one morning, a couple days later, after even making the crazy decision to stop building this thing that everybody thought was wonderful, that just wasn't satisfying me. And I wanted to focus on my coaching business and my apparel business. All that to say, I woke up one morning and I was like, whoa, wait, what just happened? And so I then was accused of soliciting for that business. And I then was accused, soliciting, that was it. Soliciting for my new business, which if you look up the definition of solicit, you will read what that means. And I never approached one person about a new business. I never, except my first line people, which I was allowed to do. And again, I'm talking some new network marketing lingo. If you're like, I don't even know what she's talking about, just track with me for a minute because I'm getting to the rescue part, okay? So all that to say, I woke up one morning and I'm like, wait, what happened? I'm kicked out of all, and actually I'd already exited myself from all the leadership pages because I knew what I was doing. Get an email from the legal team at that company and they said that you are under investigation for soliciting. And I was like, okay, no problem. Show me proof of who I approached and who I said, hey, you got to look at this thing. Because that's never been my tactic in network marketing. If you followed me for any amount of time, you know that I use attraction marketing. I use authenticity marketing. All that to say, I was terminated. The next email that I got was a few weeks later, and it literally said, as of August 17th, 2018, you are terminated from this company. And I'm like, where's the proof? Who did I reach out to and say, hey, you should come look at this? Now, granted, I do obviously know people are going to come to me and ask my opinion, but if that company only knew the hundreds of women that I turned back to their business and gave tips to their business on how to build it, they would know that these women, I didn't approach these women. I was framed to look like a horrible person, and I was accused of a lot of not having integrity, stealing people, all of these things. This is the negative side of the profession, right? All the sisters that I have all of a sudden turned, and I shouldn't say all because so many people I still have in my life who are incredibly amazing. I still coach to this day women in that same business, which is so funny and so ironic. But I carried that word terminated as shame for so long because nobody wants to say I was terminated. Because truth be told, there's a lot of questions that follow that. And it's funny to me that the company thought that after they terminated me with zero proof of me doing what they accused me of doing, wanted me to be silent. And what they did was they created chaos. They sent hundreds and thousands of women straight to my page and straight to my inbox. And me being the Enneagram 3 fighter that I am, what Enneagram are you? Drop it below so I can know who I'm talking to here. I was like, oh, you are not going to mess with my family, and you are not. I'm going to set another goal, and I will do the thing again because God is on my side. And so this whole idea of, I thought I was a fighter. I was like, I'm not. You talk about me all you want. I'm going to tell you the truth. And God has taught me a really wise lesson in that. Even though I am a fighter, God has taught me when to be the lion and fight. And he's also taught me a really life-changing lesson of when to be the lamb, when to surrender, when to know that he is fighting your battle and you do not have to stick up for yourself. And so I'm sharing this with you today because I don't think I've ever come out and said I was terminated and I was wrongfully terminated, and I'm still waiting for their legal department to send me an email screenshotting any conversation that I've had with somebody asking them to come check out my business, because that is not what happened. But they did send me an influx of people that wanted to know what's going on after the fact, and then wanted me to be silent about it, which is really interesting. But all of that to say, the devil used that incident to isolate me and to make me feel really misunderstood, betrayed by friends. I lost a lot of friends in that season. Ironic enough, many of the women who were saying the same things to me were then accusing me for saying the things. You know, it's like, I don't know if you are in a high leadership role in network marketing, but you're in these private chats, and all the things that I was willing to say publicly were a lot of it was all the same stuff that people were saying privately, but I was willing to say, I'm going to say these things because now I've been accused of something I didn't even do. All that to say, I carried this shame for the last year and a half. And I shared this story with a mentor of mine, and I spent a lot of time quiet with the Lord over the last year and a half to really re-find my identity in him, because my identity was so wrapped up in my title, my paycheck, the stages I got to stand on and train and do all of these things. And I didn't realize how twisted I had gotten things. Even though I gave God the glory for my business, even though I always knew that he was the one giving me success, my business really became an idol. It became a distraction from the very people who I love and I was doing the business for, which is my family, and to honor and glorify God and to show them, oh my gosh, God is so good. And if you give your business to him, he will do amazing things. And he has done that. But then the devil got in and he was like, no, you were terminated. You were terminated, and that's dirty. And then people ask questions, because of course there's questions after termination, right? Nobody gets fired from something if they really didn't do something wrong. So there's lots of questions, which again, my fighter mentality is like, I'm going to defend myself. And I'm going to fight. I'm going to prove to you that I'm a good person. I am not perfect. I am so far from perfect, which is another thing. I think people put you on a platform when you have success and they think that you're not human. No, I'm human. I'm perfect. I need Jesus just as much as everybody else every single day, which is why I've been able to forgive many of those people who hurt me. But as I was sharing this story with a mentor of mine, and I said I was terminated, and I remember, just like tears like welling up in my eyes and like starting to come down my face, because what the enemy uses to shame you, if you give it to God, he will use it to claim you as his daughter, as his precious, precious ruby of a daughter who is a princess. And what the enemy was using to shame me and make me feel like I was evil and terrible and all the things that people were saying. I saw screenshots that I just could not unsee. I had a phone full of them. I finally deleted them because I thought, if I'm going to court, I'm fighting this thing. And I kept all of them, and God's like, you don't need that. I got you, girl. And so I felt so isolated and so alone. And I do want to thank publicly the people who have sent me messages. I see some of your faces on here who have prayed for me and uplifted me, that you maybe didn't even know what I was battling. If spiritual warfare is real, y'all. Spiritual warfare is real. And this is why I'm sharing these things with you, because some of you have a mission so important, so crucial to the life that you're going to give somebody else, through sharing Jesus or sharing your mission or doing something good, that the enemy wants to silence you. And he won for the last year and a half. And I am here today to tell you he is not winning anymore, because I wasn't terminated. I was rescued. I was rescued from people. I was rescued from a situation that I wasn't happy in. And I was rescued from myself. Because truth be told, when that business became an idol, I literally could not. I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. And God knew I wasn't going to give up the money, because the money was good. And in my brain, I thought, well, I'm going to keep the money. I'll keep the friendships. I'll keep the money. I'll just stop investing in that business. And I think God probably laughed at that. Like, not quite going to happen that way. And so I think he allowed a wrecking ball to come in my life and swoop out the biggest idol that was in my life. And it was a good thing. It was a good thing, but it became too much of a thing. So much that it distracted me from my relationship with the Lord, and it distracted me from my family, my very precious 3 babies that I literally work for and do this for. Obviously, I have a heart for women in ministry, and I want to share Jesus through my platform and through business, but God knew it was such a distraction. And so I will no longer say I was terminated. I was rescued. And I think some of you today might feel shame over something that happened to you, whether someone rejected you, you lost friendships, maybe you were terminated. I actually see a face on here who was terminated by the same company in a different country, actually. I get a lot of stories, by the way. I get a lot of stories of sorrow and of shame and I have an inbox full of them, which is super heavy. But I want you to know that you were not terminated. You were not, you were rescued. And I don't know what it was from. Maybe you were rescued from that person. Maybe you were rescued from that company. Maybe you were rescued from yourself. Because I know for me, that was all of it. And so God took from 2018 to really up till now, and he's still doing it, to unlearn my brain. Unlearn a lot of the things that I learned in the hustle and grind and in the success. And the riskiest thing God can do is give somebody success. Because when he gives us success, then we can start to think, oh my gosh, I did it and I don't need him. And we can tend to run ahead of him instead of run alongside of him, or allow him to run ahead of us because he's already marked our course. He's already gone before us. He's before us, he's behind us, he's beside us. And I think we tend to forget that when we find success. And so over this last year and a half, I have gone through an identity crisis. Who am I? Because I know who they said I was. I know I've seen things and I've heard things, and I know the shame that the devil used to literally put over me in this situation. And I had to really dig deep and find out, who does God say that I am? And he has shown me the most intimate, beautiful things. And for those of you who are in my Bloom Academy for God-Sized Dreamers, you know some of the things I've shared, very vulnerable things with you guys. You know what I'm talking about. He has shown me my identity in him, and not your typical church things that we hear, like you are chosen, you are worthy, you are a daughter of a king. Yes, all of those are true, and all of those are good things to stand on. But I've spent so much time with him, and I got all the noise that was in my ears and in my head and in my heart. I drowned all that stuff out, and I got really quiet. And I was finally able to actually hear from the Lord, and for him to tell me who he says that I am. And it's why I'm able to even do this video now, because I know on this video alone, I'm gonna get some hate from it. Because there are people still in that company who probably are watching this and they're like, oh yeah, here she goes, you know? And it's okay, because I have forgiven everyone involved. I have forgiven myself for not handling every single thing the perfect Jesus-like way. And I've forgiven people, and I also know who I am and who God says that I am, and we are like this, so you're not messing with me. Not today, Satan. So all of that to say, I've hated network marketing for the last year. Crazy enough, when I quit that business, I went to build another business and build it to 7 figures as well. Because why? Because God is so good, and I had to feed my children. And that business has been nothing but good to me. I have nothing bad to say about the company, about the people who I've chosen to partner with. I have nothing bad to say about that business, and I love the people who I've met in that business too. And I couldn't quite figure out, why can't I go all in with this? You believed in this profession, you believed in this industry so much, but there was something in me that I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't go all in with it. And God showed me some dirty things of the industry, and even how I was doing things wrong that I didn't even realize. Like, I was almost like I would do something and I would like attach God to the end of it. It's like, oh yeah, God is so good, you know? Oh yeah. And he's like, no. You need to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all the things will be added unto you. And so I've seen some things and behaviors, and I see I get invited to a network marketing business at least once a week. Just had someone in my inbox the other day, hey, what do you do? I'm like, I'm on to you, buddy. I already done this. I've been around the block a couple times. And I started to really hate the industry. I know hate's a really strong word, and I don't even allow my kids to use it, but I really started to despise it, and I started to see the real dirt in it. And I thought, man, who could be part of this? You know, who would want to do this? And those people say that they're, you know, whatever. And oh man, like, I just see the dirt in it. And I had a couple people reach out to me lately, and I'm like, man, it's the same people. It's women in this profession who really want to honor God and do good things with their platform that God's given them, but they got some stuff twisted. and they've experienced some hurt, and they're stressed out because they want to build this thing and they have a God-sized dream with it, but they just can't. They can't take it to the next level, and they're doing everything that their leaders telling them to do and all the things. And so I kept thinking, man, God, why do you keep putting these women in my life? I don't want to help them. What I love to do is help women in network marketing find the business within their business, because that's how I was able to build 3 other businesses extending from my original network marketing business. But a woman reached out to me a week ago and shared her story with me, and I'm like, man. And God gave me that verse in Ruth again. And I was like, I gotta go read that verse again that he gave me in 2018 that I thought was 1, telling me to stay. And then I thought 2 was giving me permission to move. And then I thought, well, I don't even know what you told me, God, because goodness gracious, clearly that didn't work. The second thing, because that blew up in my face. And God's like, I've been telling you all along not to leave these women in this field because they need you. They need you to help them navigate through some of this industry. And they need you to not only share marketing strategies that the gurus and the experts share, because we can research all that stuff and practice and implement all of those things. But what he showed me is that I need to teach women in this profession and in small business online who are using a platform for the Lord to be a ministry. Because let me tell you, I felt like, well, this is no ministry. People are saying I'm a horrible person. Like, what does that show? That I'm a Jesus-loving, bad person. And I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to show them that I'm not. But truth is, I'm a mess. And God is good. And he turns all things to good for those who love him. But I see a desperate need in this profession for women who want to serve and honor the Lord, but they want to do it in a way that they can make an income and they can make an impact. And one of the strategies that I see so many people in this profession not tapping into, and not only this profession, but small business, because I've got 2 other small businesses, and God also checked me on that the other day. I have in my group, Soul Sisters with God-Sized Dreams, every Saturday I shout out a business owner, and I call it Shop Small, Shop Kingdom. And God was like, stop calling it small. Nothing I do is small. And I was like, oh, okay, I heard you. Okay, I won't call it Shop Small anymore. I'm just saying Shop Kingdom, because I love the idea of stimulating God's economy and putting money back into kingdom-driven entrepreneurs, because obviously, like, that's a ministry in and of itself to keep things going. All of that to say, God said to me, I've told you not to leave these women in this field. And for the last 1.5 years, you've been trying to shy away from this profession. And you've been building a coaching business that, helps these people a little bit, but not full force. And so I believe that there is marketing strategy and business strategy teaching us how to do the gram, how to do TikTok now, how to do Pinterest, how to do a blog, how to create a funnel, and all the things. And I believe we need to tap into those things, because obviously, like, we need those as business people. But the area that I find so many women not tapping into, and Christian women who love the Lord, is kingdom strategy. How was I able to take 1.5 months off of social media last year and literally not see any deficit in my business? Because God told me to, and I listened, and I was obedient, and there are blessings on the other side of obedience. And how has he been able to use me, like little old me? I'm no one extra. I mean, I am special. We're all special in our way. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't have any crazy, I've had wild success here, but it's all because of God. And why? Well, because I tap into kingdom strategy. And what does that mean? So, all of that to say, I next week on Tuesday and Thursday am hosting a webinar specifically around funnels, because it's something that my one-on-one clients keep asking me for. It's something I keep hearing people say. I see it in my newsfeed all the time, because people are like, I need a funnel. And God has given me a funnel that funnels. I was able to launch a coaching program this January, $25,000 program. I have no website. I have no funnel. I do have a website, but it's under construction. Why? Not because I am crazy and awesome, because I use kingdom strategy. I still have a business that pays me, not because I'm, someone crazy special in the whole residual income that we are often working for in network marketing, but because I use Kingdom strategy. And so, with that being said, I think we need both. Let's not be ignorant to the fact that marketing is marketing and we need it. But what God says always trumps what any guru says. What the Bible says always trumps what the algorithm, what we got to do to fix the algorithm and whatnot. So I would love to share with you how I have been able to use a free funnel and my strategy for a free funnel for network marketing. And really this would fall for small business owners too. It's the same thing because I have other businesses as well and I use the same strategy in this, but this one's specifically geared toward network marketing because God told me I'm not allowed to leave the field. Now, I am not joining another network marketing business. I feel like everyone was ready for me to say, oh, you're joining a new business. And let me tell you why I'm not building my own business. Because if you believe in it so much, then why are you not building your own, right? Because that's going to be a question I get, I'm sure. I was talking with a new friend who is in network marketing and she found me somewhere and she's like, I just love your content and I just, thank you for sharing these things. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like waiting for her to invite me to her network marketing business because I get it all the time. And I'm like, she doesn't know me. She doesn't know my whole story. I hate network marketing, which I don't anymore. God freed me of that, right? But I knew he kept telling me I'm doing a new thing. I'm doing a new thing. I'm doing a new thing. And every time I'd be invited to a new network marketing business, I'd be like, oh, I could totally kill that thing. I could do so good there. I could do so good. And God's like, I'm doing a new thing. And so I've been sitting here kind of empty-handed, sort of in that way, thinking, okay, God, what are you doing? Like you said, you're doing a new thing. All that to say, I want to teach strategy, both business-wise, exactly what I've been able to do. And I also want to teach Kingdom strategy along with it. Because when you put those two together, it's fire. And the reason why I'm not building my own business is because I was having a conversation with this woman. Sorry, I get a little squirrel. And she said, we were talking about some of the things that are missing in this industry for kingdom-minded women who want to really use their business as some sort of a ministry and use their platform for something besides selling their products and their service. And she's like, I was thinking, and she shared with me what she thought was missing in the profession and the industry. And then she's like, I was thinking it'd be so cool to have you on my front line. And I was like, oh. Here she goes. Is she seriously going to try to recruit me after I was vulnerable with her and asked her some questions? She's like, but God told me that you can't be on my front line because he wants you on his front line. So for those of you who are thinking, oh, she's joining another network marketing business and she's going to do it up again. She's going to go for her 4th, 7-figure, 8-figure, whatever network marketing business. The answer to that is no, because God has already recruited me. I'm on his team, and I want to share with you how to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and then how your business will flourish when we get our priorities straight. Because I myself didn't have my priorities straight for the longest time. And God took the last 1.5 years to show me and to unlearn a lot of things that the world teaches us to hustle, to grind, to do more, to try a little bit harder, to reach out to another person, you can have more, you can have more. Isn't that what the devil did to Eve? Told her she could have more. And it was the very thing that separated her from God. And I think that if we don't build our businesses the right way, we will be distracted and we will be confused and we will get discouraged and we will be all the things that God doesn't want for us. And so I'm going to start off with a little bit of both, a little bit of really business strategy on how I've been able to build multiple businesses from a free funnel that the funnel that I create, that I do online, to find the perfect people to work with, whether I'm selling weight loss, workouts, whether I'm selling makeup, whether I am selling skincare or whatever else it is, because I've sold them all, and coaching. It's the same thing I use for coaching. It's the same thing I've used for t-shirts. It's the same thing, and it's proven over and over and over again to work because of 2 things. 1, the strategy works, and 2, Kingdom strategy works. And so I want to share those things with you. So if you're still here, I love you. Thank you for listening. Becky, I love you so much. And so I'm here. God showed me not to despise the industry. I cannot like certain things about it. I believe that network marketing in social media in general is such a platform and such an opportunity for us to do greater good, to do something beyond ourselves. And so I want to teach you how to do that effectively while not losing yourself and your family and your soul and your sanity in the midst of that. So if you will join me on the webinar, you can choose either next Tuesday or next Thursday. They're going to be live. They are not recorded. They are live. It's going to be me in full action, teaching you exactly, showing you all you need to know how to build a funnel. And then if you stick around, I am doing a giveaway on that call as well. And I've got so many more good things coming because God is good. And He rescued me from myself and from some people that weren't meant to go into my future. And I am so excited to share with you the strategies that He has literally given me to thrive in this online space, and not to lose yourself in the process, and not to compare yourself to everybody else in the process. So, business strategy, kingdom strategy, together. If that is what you're interested in, sign up for the webinar. It's free. And then I can't wait to continue to share with you more and more of what God has done in me and through me over this last year and a half, and really how He turned something so messy and so dark and so painful and into something so incredibly beautiful. So I love you guys. I cannot thank you enough for your support and for sticking by me and for your prayers and whatnot. I will drop the link for the webinar below. It's actually in my cover photo. I chopped 13 inches of hair off, y'all. I'm a new woman. And so I had to get some new professional pictures done because I don't have my long hair, but I'm already grown it out again because I miss it. So I'll drop the link for you guys to join there. Yay, I see so many of you saying you already joined. Stephanie, awesome. I love you. Chris, I love you. Kara, I'll get that link to you guys. I'll also put it up here so you can join that. But stay tuned. And if you are not in our Soul Sisters with God-Sized Dreams community, hop in over there. This goodness has been coming out for the last year. I just was carrying too much shame to do it here on this page. Not anymore. And I want to encourage you to not be ashamed of your story. Take your mess, turn it into a message. Take your trials, allow God to turn them into your triumphs. Take your test of your life and allow God to use it into your testimony. If you've been a victim of somebody's bitterness, anger, insecurities, or whatever else, I want to pray and encourage you to allow God to you be the victor, and that we can stand high with our head held high, knowing who He says that you are, not who they said you are, not how they made you feel, but who God says that you are. And if you need help with that, you message me and I will help you with figuring out who God says that you are and the identity so that you can stand tall, because you are the head and not the tail. I love you. I'll talk to you later.